That's the life of a fisherman you wouldn't understand. Something you can't feel on dry land. Gotta get your arms way up in a cage and set the hook on smallmouth bass, and then you'll understand. Gotta get your hands on a Shimano reel and a G-Loom that's trying to bet you like what you feel. Step on the deck, give it a whirl. Hello, welcome to my world.
What's going on, all you Facebook Live and YouTube Live fishing freaks? Before we get started, just to let you guys know, tonight's episode brought to you by Hannah Sublett, insurance broker, protecting your health, securing your future. Give her a call at 740-456-7944 for everything health and life insurance related. She's located conveniently. Oh yeah, go ahead and share that out. Share now. I'll do the same. That's right. Matt Strickland, what's up, buddy? Happy birthday! Give him the 2 thumbs up. Let's get some fireworks going on here. Yeah, there you go, Matt. You got you some fireworks for your birthday. Hope everything is going well. By the way, guys, I don't know if Matthew still got this stuff going on or not, but if he does not, or maybe he'll be able to let us know. He is raffling a G-Loomis NRX Plus and a reel. I'm not sure what the reel is, to be honest with you. I just saw it was the NRX Plus and it's $20 a ticket, so I chose to take I think it might be like a Crown Arc MGL, something like that. I'm not sure. Tyler Williams in the house. But Matt has some tickets for sale, probably as a fundraiser. $20 a ticket. Get a hold of him. Yeah, so Matthew says the raffle's still going on. Hop on his Facebook page if you'd like to get a hold of that. Send him a message. He accepts everything MySpace Pay. MySpace Pay is a little bit, beyond his time. So Corrado 150. So still an awesome reel. Heck of a deal for $20. I think it's $20 a piece, or I don't know. He'll have to tell us. I think it was like $50 for 3. I'm not sure. $100 for 5. Venmo, PayPal, cash. So there you go. But again, shoot him a message. Matthew Strickland. He does have a really cool raffle going on right now that will, somebody's going to win. Might as well be me, but you guys could donate some money. 20 for 1, 6 for 100. There we go. Makes sense. So buy 4, get 1 free. Or buy 5, get 1 free. So that's a pretty good deal. So again, Matthew's got it going on right now. So if you're interested in that, definitely do so. So last week we had the show with talking about Casting for Kids being kind of postponed. So JR, what's your thoughts on that now that you have a week to think about it?
Well, I'm hoping the fishing's still going to be good. I mean, everybody's saying how dirty Yatesville is, which we've had so much rain, and it was up. I mean, the most that I saw from the Corps of Engineers website was around 8 feet. It seems like it was certainly higher than that from the pictures I've seen, but it's almost a summer pool now. Last time I checked, it was around summer pool. So I'm optimistic, man. I'm just ready to get out there and fish and have some fun. So, either way, I feel like this is an event where kind of everybody wins. So I'm excited about it. Yeah, lake elevation is currently 630 feet, which is summer pool. So they have got it to summer pool now. So hopefully it'll start cleaning up. I'm not sure if it will or not, but if you guys want this information, you can always just Google like any lake and look at the Corps Engineers website. I do this all the time. I feel kind of nerdy about it, but it's kind of nice because it'll give you all the information on when you can use, like at what ramp is unusable, at what elevation, whether it be high or low, and gives you the water temperatures, things like that. It kind of helps.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Again, Army Corps of Engineers is really cool, and something I think I've showed you guys this before, but let's see if I can find it. I'll have to see if I can find it here really quick. But there's a spot here in the fishing part of Kentucky, which I don't know why they don't do it for Ohio, but maybe they do. I'm not sure. I'm still trying to find the page, but there's a page that you can go to that will show you. There's like GPS maps of where they put in all of the fishing habitat stuff over. Their website has changed so much.
I knew it, and then I didn't.
Yeah, I have to find it. I'm not sure where it's at, but there is a spot on here that you can actually go in and you can see where they dump all the fish habitat. And it used to be here in fish habitat, which I know you guys are not seeing, but there we go. All right, so let me share my screen here really quick. Again, this is only for Kentucky. They may have other things. It doesn't. There's not in one in Ohio, though. I can tell you that because I've looked. So this is fw.ky.gov. Fish pages, fish attractor lakes. I'll show you how I got here. I chose fishing, and then I scrolled down to fish habitat here, and I selected this. And then I scrolled down to where it says lakes with fish attractors, and I selected this. And then here is a page or a like a table, if you will. Let's look and see if we can do one we all may know. Let's see. Greenbow's not on here. Let's take a look at Cave Run. I know Cave Run has a lot. So this is the map, and it'll show you where all this stuff is located, where they dump things. However, the coolest part about this is if I close this and I go back out here, this Cave Run like GPX file, you can literally download this, put it on an SD card, and import it into most graphs into your mapping stuff, which is pretty daggone cool. Mm-hmm. So everything that's on there, and you can see like there's Lake Cumberland here, which is probably very large. Yeah, I'm sure. Looks like they apparently only stock one part of it with habitat. But if you want that stuff, you can just grab it here in this GPX file and download it straight to your. Let's check out Yatesville.
Yeah, I might find something new there, huh?
Well, let's see here. These are way up the lake, past Rich Creek. So they put some in Rich Creek. That is a crappie attractor right there. I've seen that one before. A bunch of stakes.
All I can see on your on the thing is where you've got the list there, Tyler. I can't see if it's showing you pictures. I don't know if it's not sharing it.
Here about now you can see it, right?
Yeah, there it goes.
Find out where I was at. So this is Rich Creek right here. Rich Creek boat ramp. Yeah, so I've seen these trees, so those do exist. I don't know what that's a new thing. That's one of those like
PVC pipe
things. Yeah, that's right in the first cove in Rich Creek. These are crappie stakes right here. It's pretty cool that you can see the creek channel, the river channel winding through here. Like,
yeah, I like how they just dropped it on the Google Maps images. That's really nice.
Yeah, so let's see. Brush reef, stake bed, plastic tube structure is what that thing's called. So apparently they do a lot of stuff. Most of it's down by the main marina. Looks like there's some stuff back here. That's back in the timber there past
Carter Island.
Yeah, Carter Island. I don't know, pretty cool stuff. Casting for Kids coming up soon. Pretty excited about that. JR and Jared will be fishing that together. I'm kind of bummed that I'm going to be missing it. But if you weren't on the show last week and you're wondering why I'm talking like that, is the fact that JR and Jared are going to be fishing the Casting for Kids together because it is not this weekend coming up, but next weekend. And I will be gone on the trip. We're leaving this Thursday at 3 o'clock. As soon as I can get home, I'm going to have everything set up and ready to rock and roll. Dusty's meeting me here. We're heading west. Young man, haven't you been told? California's full of whiskey, women, and gold. We're not going quite that far. I'm glad of it because the 11 hours to get to Arkansas is going to be enough. It's going to be 2:30 in the morning, probably closer to 3:30 when we get there, due to having to stop and get fuel and all that stuff. The older I get, the more I don't know, I guess just the way my mind sets up. I consider when I was a kid, my mind worked a lot better than it does right now, just for the simple fact that I didn't have to worry about so much stuff. But my dad used to make lists of stuff that needed to get done before we went on fishing trips or whatever trips, and he would have a list and he would check these checklists off. And a lot of times I was the person checking these lists off. He would make a list and require me to do that stuff. But now I kind of get where he comes from because I'm making my own lists. So today I changed the lower unit oil or the lower unit fluid in my lower unit. It's been ran one solid year, which I change it every year, if not 2 or 3 times a year, because it's like $15 it's about 30 for mine because engineers are amazing. But the lower unit that's on my boat takes like 1.5 quarts of hydraulic fluid there, or the gear oil. So you have to buy 2 quarts, which is about $15 a quart. So you do have that, but I dropped all that stuff off, I dropped the lower unit, dropped the lower unit oil, put some new in, tightened up all my graphs to make sure everything was good to go. I updated all my graphs to the newest newest operating system and firmware, and got all my cards ready to rock and roll. And I got, tires. I checked the air pressure of my tires and got them all set up. And I got the oil changed in my truck. There's just so much. We're getting ready to put 2,000 miles on my truck, which is crazy. But I am, I'm very excited. You guys are going to see every step of the way. Matter of fact, I'm already creating videos about it, so you guys will see one coming out very soon. But Jared, what's an old bait you have always have tied on? So, I think a jig falls in that because it's fairly old. Buzz bait, I think, is one of the oldest baits on the planet. And I think, if there's a bait that I'm going to go fishing in the spring without, or something I'm not going to go without, it's going to be a spinnerbait.
Yeah, so I had an old man. He definitely wouldn't mind me calling him old man because he's 87 years old. He's a great guy. He's always talking about fishing Del Hollow, and he was talking to me about just some baits that he always fishes. And he was talking about a Norman Lures Little N. And I was like, well, I've never tried that before, but I'll try it. And, it kind of made me think about all of these older baits that, as fishermen now, I think we kind of focus way more on the new baits. So I was kind of thinking, what are some things that is worth a try, and something that, I know some people that love fishing lizards. I know people that love fishing, Smithwick, rogues, things like that. And to me, I always like to hear what is something that has, withstood the test of time. So if you guys got any ideas out there, let me know, and I'd love to try it out. Original wiggle wart. See, there's a perfect one. You know,
Speaking of original wiggle warts, I have some magnums for sale. I got 11 magnums and 2 regular. These are all pre-Rapala. I make somebody a deal on them. I got 12 or 13 of them. I probably sell for, I don't know, $130. Do have I want to show you something here, Jared. It's something you probably have never seen. Maybe you have if you bought some Norman baits. But let's see here. Let me share my screen. Bill Norman is the only company I've ever seen in my life that you can't really tell it in this picture, but right here on the back of the package, it shows you how to tune them. Because I've never, ever found a Bill Norman crankbait that ran true out of the package. They kind of like have leaned on it because that's all, that's true because they let you know, hey, this is how you tune them.
Yeah, I've never even owned one. I've never bought one, and I was like, man, I'll buy one for this guy's sake because he is such a good guy, and he's always giving me the lowdown on Dale Hollow because he loves Dale Hollow, but he's a great guy.
The old Rapala minnow is awesome. Ed K says that for sure. Rapala minnow. Come from Nashville, Green River, May 7th to 11th. Fishing Maysville. Green River, I haven't fished there much. I know there's a lot of big smallmouth, and they caught some absolute hammer largemouth in there. I think there was a 9.5 caught there not too long ago.
Holy cow.
Crazy. Cody Wayne. By the way, man, congratulations on a freaking absolute tear. Dude wins a freaking spring banger, and him and his buddy won a freaking other giant tournament the other day. They're bringing home the dough. What's up, Andy? How you doing, buddy? Helping old dude out, fairly new bass fishing guys. What to use this time of year? I'm completely lost in cold, cool, high, and muddy water. Thanks. So let's just start with where we're at right now. Cold, cool, muddy water, and doesn't have to be all together, but normally this time of year it is cold or cool, muddy water. A lot of times, if the mud is very thick and it's been in the lake quite a while, like Gatesville, for example, it's been muddy for 2 weeks now going on. Most bass are going to be hugging really close, really tight to cover, and they're going to be relying on their lateral line for feeding. So anything that makes vibration or noise is going to be something I'll be throwing. Chatterbait, spinnerbait, something like a rattle trap or a liftless crankbait is something for me that I'll be throwing. It all depends on. I had a fellow tell me one time, is it old mud or new mud? And I was like, why does it matter? And he's like, it makes sense. Like if it's new mud, a lot of times you're having a lot of water coming in, a lot of rushing stuff. The water rising really high. I find some of the best fishing in our area to be when the water is rising and really high. I'm talking like, I feel like you could have really caught them good if you would have got out of Yatesville last week when it was 15, 20 foot above they just get really shallow and they get way up in the bushes stuff. I don't know if it's because that they don't have anything that they can, that's just new water to them or what, but they seem like they get a lot more shallow during this time of year. But those are three baits that I'm definitely going to be throwing. It's cold, muddy water, and that's going to be a chatterbait. Black and blue is going to be a really good color because, again, it just has a lot more contrast in the water. Something like a Z-Man Big Blade is a really good one. It has a lot more thump, but it does hunt a lot more, which I consider good, but it does get hung up a lot more. Something like the Jackal TN60 for lipless crankbait. The Red Eye Shad from Strike King are really good, lipless. You have some of my spinner baits, so those are really good. I would probably, if it's really cold and muddy, tough water, I would opt for a big Colorado blade as opposed to the, something that was more shad style, like the willow leaf. The big thumping Colorado blade just adds more vibration.
Yeah. Another thing comes to my mind is a rig or a bright jerk bait with rattles too, especially if it's still cold. If you're sub 60 degrees, I mean, there's definitely an argument nowadays for having a jerk bait all year round, but If it's sub 60 degrees, I'm always thinking about a jerk bait at some point. So that is hopefully helpful. I like the name of your Old Man in the Sea Productions there. That's a great book. One of my favorites that I've ever read, probably.
Isn't that where the dude goes out and catches the tuna or the big fish and then tries to bare hands it in, or he hand lines it in and the sharks eat the fish on the boat on the way in?
Yep. Hemingway.
Yeah. Let's see here. So Cody, so the trip consists of this. Next Thursday, or not next Thursday, this Thursday, so 2 days from today, I'm leaving at 3 o'clock. We're driving west to Bull Shoals, which so I'm sure you guys know, or maybe you don't know, I have a goal to catch a black bass species in all 50 states. I just threw that out one day, and then I was like, well, wait, maybe there's not black bass species. When I mean black bass species, that's either a largemouth, smallmouth, or a spotted bass, something you could weigh in on a bass tournament. I want to catch one of those species in every state. I don't have to catch every species in every state. I just want to catch one of those fish, one of those 3 fish in every state. So I've pretty much exhausted everything on the East Coast except for some stuff in the New England area. I have like Maine, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, I think is the only 3 up there. And then I have Florida, which is weird because, I'm in Florida all the time. I have vacation there almost every year. I just don't ever do any fishing. We're always beaching it and, enjoying some frosty, cold adult beverages. So I just never think about fishing. It's island time down there, but I'll eventually catch one down there because obviously it's Florida. But then we decided I planned this trip for this spring break, which is the reason I'm able to take this off is because next week is my spring break as a teacher. And we are, Dusty and I are leaving here on Thursday. We're going to go to Bull Shoals, which straddles Arkansas and Missouri. We're going to get there Thursday night, Friday morning, like 3 o'clock in the morning. I have a camp spot, like literally right on the boat ramp. Like my camp spot, like you can pull out and then back down the boat ramp, which I thought was pretty neat. So we're going to fish there for a day. So hopefully I can catch a bass. And my deal is that I'm not going to be, I'm not going to be looking a gift horse in the mouth here. I'm going to be throwing a Nico and a wacky rig a lot just to get bit. I want to, and maybe a Ned rig. I'm not talking about catching trophy size species here. Just have to catch them. Catch one there, and again, I will. And I'm not a purist. If the lake straddles both states, and I'm in that state with that, I'm not going to count both states for catching it in the lake unless I actually catch the fish in that state. But we're going to try to knock off Arkansas and Missouri one night, and then we're going to stay at the same campground that we were just at that night again, and then we're going to wake up probably 4 o'clock in the morning, get up and drive 4 hours west to Lake Tenkiller in Oklahoma. We're going to fish there a day, stay in a camper or stay in my truck bed tent that night, which will be Saturday night, and then Sunday we're going to get up and drive to Lake Fork, which is going to be southwest of there. About another 3.5, 4 hours to get to Giannis, Texas, which is where Lake Fork's at. We have an Airbnb there for 4 days or 3 days. We'll be there for 4 days. We're still kind of in limbo for one day. I got to figure something out tomorrow. The deal is the Airbnb that we're staying at was only available on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or the nights we're going to be there like Sunday night, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and we kind of, the Airbnb wasn't available. There's very few campgrounds on Lake Fork, which was very weird to me. Like normally around every lake, there's at least one state park. There's hardly anything like that. So I'm trying to find a place to stay Sunday night. But worst comes to worst, we'll probably just find a public boat ramp, something that stays open all night, throw the tent in the back of the truck and sleep there and hope we don't get run off. If we do, I guess we'll go find a Walmart or something. I'm not sure. I'm still going to call around some places tomorrow, see if I can get a spot there. But no matter what, we're going to be fishing Lake Fork for 3.5 days, maybe 4 days, depending on how the bite is. Right now, I'm looking at all the stuff down there, and it looks like they're all bed fishing, which does not interest me. I know you can catch some absolute hammers. I don't have power poles, but I just still think that, I would. I guess you can't have it both ways. I do have light scope. I would catch a fish off a bed if I saw a giant, but it's not something that I want to, like focus my interest on for 4 days. I want to be out and trying to catch some. So hopefully we can catch some pre and post spawn, throwing some top water and stuff at fork. And then we're going to go northeast from there to Caney Creek, Louisiana. We're going to fish Caney Creek Reservoir, I think it's called, or Caney Creek Lake. And we're going to be there for 3 days. We have an Airbnb there that Aaron Strickland hooked me up with. I'll be showing you guys more about this. Has its own boat, got its own boat slip. Pretty nice place from what I can tell. Looks like an excellent place. Last minute deal. He told me to contact this guy, and he hooked us up. We're going to be staying there for the remainder of the trip. And we have one last decision to make, and that is whether we want to fish Bussy Break on the way home or take one of the days we're there at Caney and drive to Bussy Break. I feel like Bussy Break is one of those lakes where you're only going to get a few bites a day, but that's where Randy Howe caught the 13.5 or whatever it was. That was it's still the MLF record. Rob Reynolds said he caught the 5 on the old Tyler Mad Dad Waller spinnerbait Sunday. Dude,
I like the name of that, Mad Dad. That's cool.
I will tell you that not just because I make them, I think they're some of the best spinnerbaits on the planet. They're not my design. I got Greg Drown taught me everything not everything he knew, but he told me how to make a spinnerbait and a little squeak buzz bait. So there's that. Great question, Tony. I guess if I was going to give you any advice, is don't be afraid to do it. There's always availability for tournaments, even if you don't have a boat. Maybe you don't want to tournament fish. But another thing that there's always people. Facebook is a great thing nowadays because you can get online locally and find bass clubs that are in and around you. I have yet to meet, if the bass clubs are normally awesome people. You might find some outliers in some of those groups, but most of the time, most people are awesome to deal with, especially the young kids like that getting started, because we were all that young and all starting at some point. Somebody had to teach me and take me fishing for the very first time once. And that's kind of why I have this major bug, which, fishing is more of a lifestyle to me than, it's a way of life now compared to a hobby. But, the thing about it is that there's always people available to take you fishing. There's always people that will allow you to go with them, even if you don't have a boat or what have you. There's kayak tournaments out there. The biggest thing is that, jump in with both feet. Don't just there's really no easy way to get into tournament fishing. But if I was going to give you any kind of advice, that if you wanted to start out slow and kind of dip one toe in the water, find a local bass club that doesn't have a ton of people in it. And even if they have a ton of people, find some people that are laid back. There's several bass clubs in our area right here in Ohio. To name a few, Lewis County Lunkers, we fish with them all the time. We fished with Pedro Bass Club this past weekend. Great group of guys there. River Valley Bass Club is awesome. There's just so many. Lawrence County Bass Club, there's just so many people out there, especially in our area. But just wherever you're from, find a bass club, go to some of their meetings, meet up with these guys. And a lot of times, they'll be able to help you out. Biggest thing is you don't have to have the nicest equipment to go out there tournament fishing. I have literally pulled in with people in a $100,000 boat with $100,000 worth of equipment, get my rear end whipped with a freaking Zebco 33 and a Zoom Lizard.
Man, being pretty new to tournaments, Tony, I think just going out there and meeting the people, man. I've met a lot of people through Tyler, honestly. Met a lot of people through Borders and just being there and kind of hanging out. And there's, all these different ads for different tournaments if you want like an individual tournament. To me, the first tournament I ever fished was Casting for Kids a couple of years ago. Not last year, but the year before. And just to see have the camaraderie and, you make friends and friends become more friends and it really becomes a community. So, I think it's something that it won't be great for just you. It'll be great for you and your son because it's becomes, something you guys can share.
Yeah, for sure. And Brian Davis is on here. I totally forgot about Marathon Bass League in our area. Tony, are you from our area here in Ironton? Or, I mean, where are you close to? I would tell you a bunch of places if you're in this area, but if not, maybe we can get you hooked up with some people. But
Yeah, Brian is a great guy too. I mean, I just keep thinking about all of their tournaments that they've had in the first responder tournament. I mean, stand-up guys, great guys. I've met so many of them. Brent, my neighbor, fishes with him a lot, and I mean, they're so supportive.
Oh, so Tony says from North Carolina. Yeah, man. So I think maybe. All right, cool. That's awesome, man. But yeah, I guarantee that you can find some of the same folks, especially down there anywhere in North Carolina, Falls Lake, Jordan Lake, Kerr. You got to have Sharon Harris, all those awesome lakes down there. I guarantee there's a bass club somewhere down there. So again, best advice I can give you is, just jump in, let him, let him be a part of it. And you don't have to have the nicest equipment, man. That's the biggest thing. Like most tournament, you roll into a Toyota Series and you have I don't know. If you have my boat in a Toyota Series, people are going to laugh at you. It's weird because Toyota Series, it's like, $5,700 to even get in the thing. So if you have $5,700, it's $1,700 a tournament. Sorry, I lied to you. Still a lot of cash, but fish them all, it's a ton of money, ton of responsibility, ton of, I don't know how people do it, to be honest with you, but jump in, find somebody, go fishing, man. That's the deal. And if you find somebody that's a butthole to you, just tell them to kick rocks, man. Like there's so much negativity in fishing anymore. And that's what's so crazy. We kind of alluded to it last week. Like the more I dive into fishing and the more I become a content creator in fishing, the more I hate fishermen. And that's saying something. Like as a whole, myself included, I've been in that. So I'm going to chunk myself right into that, is that we're some of the most negative people on the planet. Like it seems like we cannot be happy for other people. And I've had that mindset in my life previously. I'm trying to swap that around because I've been in that situation where, I post a video catching a fish with live scope and I'll have 9,000 of the blockheads coming at me like, oh, cheater scope, blah, 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 blah. Like, and, I don't, it's just so weird. I guess because of the internet, everybody has a platform now, but it's weird to me that we can't go out and fish and have a good time. That's the reason I love bass clubs so much, is because most of the time, I'll say 90% of the places I've fished has been, you pay your dues, you pay your money to fish, you go out and fish 8 hours, you come back in and you're the best man, best woman, best team wins. And there's no BS. It's just they go about their business and they have fun and it's all like a big family. If you step up higher into that, like BFLs and Toyota Series and Bass Nation or Bass Opens and all that stuff, like you're going to run into some super negative people. And that's inherently, it's the law of averages. The more time you spend on the water with other people, you're going to find one guy or a couple guys that just absolutely get under your skin. I've been with people that absolutely will come out and just make you rethink about everything that you think about fishing. Like I drew a fellow in Maysville or BFL one time, and I bet you this dude said every cuss word under the sun in the first 1 hour of the tournament, cussed me, cussed everything around it, like just absolutely hated his life. He just was just in this terrible mood. And what made it even worse is I was absolutely wrecking fish out of the back of his boat. I ended up having like 14 pounds in Maysville on the Ohio River as a co-angler that day. And I don't even think he weighed a fish in, but it was just one of those things. The same guy ended up cutting Kyle off when I was in the back of the boat. He cut Kyle off going to the spot and cussed Kyle because he cut him off. Like it was a weird situation, but that's I fished, I don't know, 25 events probably with BFLs and Toyota Series and stuff throughout the years. And there's been 2 people that I would never fish with again. That guy being one, and there was another guy that was just a freaking a punk that I drew at the it was the regional classic one year at Potomac. I drove up there 8 hours, 9 hours to get there or whatever, and the guy was just a punk to me. It was crazy, not fun. But there you go, dude. You got all kind of. You got Tony says he got a 2023 Ranger 518Z or Z518, but you're set up.
Well, what I was going to suggest to you, Tony, and this goes to what Tyler's asking here, I'm definitely going to fish the Tennessee Casting for Kids. I got off work to do it. And Tony, I just looked up Raleigh, North Carolina to Dandridge, Tennessee is 5 hours. So that's not that big of a drive. It's probably about the same it's going to be for me, maybe a little bit more. But if you want to meet up with, definitely me, I think Tyler's kind of thinking about coming to it with me, but I'll definitely be there, and I'd be happy to meet up with you, and then we'll have a good time. Tyler's fishing with Brent, which he's a great guy, and yeah, bring your son, man. We'd have a blast.
Yeah, dude, that would be a good tournament. It's gonna be a giant tournament, probably 130 boats, I'd say. Again, Casting for Kids, if you don't know, is a Shriners-based organization where the money gets donated back. I mean, you still can make a ton of money. It's like $17,000 paid out, I think. But there's a lot of stuff there that you're not going to meet a bad person at that tournament. Everybody's going to be willing to help you out. Everybody's going to be polite. Everything's going to be rocking and rolling. It's going to be fun. It's like get your feet wet in one of the best tournaments ever. And they're some of the most well-run tournaments ever. Parking is always great. Sometimes they have breakfast for you. It's just it's like a whole ordeal. But it's as Jared said at the beginning of the show, everybody wins, I think, because excuse me, in the end of things, I think they donated it was crazy amount of money, like.
500,000 or something nuts to Shriners hospitals, basically kids not having to pay anything for their health care when they get sick. It's a beautiful thing. Rob, here seeing we've been getting rain on and off all week. What's your go-to after rain? Local lakes, rivers, creeks. Man, it's got to be spinnerbait for me. I see muddy water. I think spinnerbait. You get two things. It's got a lot of flash, and then it's got a lot of vibration. So if you find them hungry, that's really good. If it's really dirty and they need it dropped on their head, which sometimes they do when it gets really muddy, then I'm going to go to probably a black and blue jig, and hopefully I get it close enough to them for them to pick it up.
Yeah, I think I would add a couple things on there. Obviously, you got to throw the chatterbait in there if you're going to throw the spinnerbait. Kind of one and the same, right? The same vibration, just a little different vibration. I think that a bigger profile Texas rig works a lot. And I'm going to throw out a secret that Jared and I have came to love in the last few years, and that is a KVD rodent made by Strike King.
Mm-hmm.
They make a 3.5 and a 4.5 inch version, or a 3 and a 4 inch version. I always get that screwed up, but it's a 3-ish and a 4-ish inch bait. But for some reason, California crawl in that rodent just absolutely gets chewed. And the only place I know that you can get them right now is Walmart and Borders. Used to be able to get them at the tackle box. I know they don't have them at Dick's because I used to go there looking for them when I didn't even know that. I actually had Greg Drown at the tackle box ordering for me, so he kept them in stock for me. But the KVD rodent is something I'm going to be throwing. 3/16 weight, something that's got a little bit of slow fall on it. And with that spinnerbait Jared was talking about, if it's muddy, I'm going to be looking for isolated cover, stumps, twigs in the water. It doesn't even have to be a ton. If I see a bush in the water, I'm throwing at it every angle I can get at it. It's like JR and I were fishing this past weekend at Greenbow, and I knew that there was a fish attractor that they put in just similar to what I was just showing you guys a minute ago. It's just a big Christmas tree. Matter of fact, Andy was the one that put me on a lot of that stuff. Old Man in the Sea here. But I found one, and it's not a sneak hole or anything. Anybody that drives by it can see it. with the twig sticking up out of the center of this thing. And I told JR, I was like, there's always fish around this thing. And at this point, we hadn't caught a fish. It was like noon. And I casted a jig over the by that thing and set the hook on one of the keepers. And then like 30 seconds after that, JR catches another keeper. Then he catches a short fish, and that's all we caught all day. But it was just knowing that that fish could potentially be around that. You know, high percentage spots like that with a spinnerbait, isolated cover, something I would definitely be looking at.
Mm-hmm. Awesome questions, man. People asking questions like this and just all of us talking together makes it so much more interesting, I think. So with spinnerbaits and chatterbaits, do you add anything or just throw them as they are? So Tyler and I kind of have a differing opinion on this. I personally always put a twin-tailed grub on my spinnerbaits. Chatterbaits, oh my gosh. Well, first off, I always have a trailer. Man, I have so many that I like. Almost the majority of them are the pintail style. I do not like paddle tails on chatterbaits. I think it alters the action so much that it makes it so it doesn't operate the way it's supposed to, because the front shimmy and the back shimmy is just too much. I feel like you need more of a shad style profile and it works a little bit better. I know Tyler likes the back hook on the spinnerbaits, and that definitely works too.
So I don't throw a trailer on my spinnerbaits at all. Just for the simple fact is, like, I know spinnerbaits will work without them, and it's just more money, right? I'm not saying that it doesn't add an extra enhancer. Probably would, couldn't tell you. But I mean, especially the spinnerbaits I'm throwing have at least 2 blades on them. They're gonna have some kind of flashy skirt. Like, how much more can you really want from that? Like, if a fish is not going to eat that, they're not going to eat a spinnerbait anyway. But he is 100%
confidence in.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think that he hit it right on the nail head. If I'm throwing a spinnerbait, it has to have a trailer hook on it. I usually throw a 1 or 2 Gamakatsu trailer hook that are made specifically for spinnerbaits. And the way they work is they have, I wish I had something here to show you, but the eye of the hook, the circle part, you push it up in a piece of tubing and you cut that tubing off so the tubing encapsulates the hook eye, and then you hook your spinnerbait hook through that eye and it keeps it out. I think having it straight out and not dangling like crazy is going to enhance, or it's going to, better your hookup ratio, because if that blade is causing the vibration it should, it's going to be causing that back hook to be flailing all over the place. So I like it to be sturdy, straight out. That way, if a fish hits it, and it may be for the simple fact that they hit both of them, and I only hook them on the rear hook. But I would say 8 out of 10 fish I catch on a spinnerbait is only hooked by the trailer hook. Or short striking or whatever, you get that opportunity. Now, a chatterbait, I would throw a lot of different things. Like, I'm with JR, though. I don't think it needs to have a paddle tail. I think that it has something to do with that's way above my head in physics, like the hydrodynamics of things. It's causing, like he's saying, like the fluttering action on both sides of it. It does lessen the vibration. That is a great question, JR. When are you going to take your mother fishing?
I know. It's either fishing or I'm at work, so it's kind of the two. Well, I was just at Disney, so I can't really do that. But Mom, I tried to get you to pond hop with me at Disney World. She was scared of the gators. What am I gonna do?
Mama says that gators are so mean because they ain't got all them teeth and no toothbrush. Quick shout out here to some of our sponsors, Malone's Marine. You guys need anything dealing with marine stuff, whether that be a new boat. He sells Phoenix. He has icons, which he sold both icons he had, which I figured he would have sold them way quicker than that. But he sold both 20 footers that he had, which are really cool. Way above my price range. I'll never be able to afford one. Phoenix, they got the hottest selling boat right now on the planet. That's the 721 ZXL. I think they have a $2,000 rebate on those. If you want some of the higher end stuff, there's up to a $6,000 rebate on a lot of that stuff right now. So they're looking to move some of those boats. He sells Blazer, not Blazer, sorry. He sells Bullet, Bass Cat. You pretty much name it, he can almost get it for you. Tyler and those guys down there will take care of you also. If you want to buy a graph, they'll set it up for you and all that stuff. But again, they've always been a part of, my fishing stuff. I always try to buy as much stuff as I can locally there. And then Border Sporting Goods, obviously, Brad over there in the fishing department, but everybody at Borders, we got Caleb James and everybody over there that, help us out. It's kind of like my home away from home. Used to be the tackle box. Since the tackle box closed down, I was lucky enough to land a, promotion like a pro staff deal, like a promotional staff deal with Border Sporting Goods. And they take care of us whenever we need something that's hard to find or whatever. And another thing that I would like to tell you is that Borders has a lot of fishing gear right now, and they're constantly putting new and more stuff in there. Brad is always good about listening to us about new and upcoming baits. It's one of the few places, if not the only place in the area, you can get Picasso baits right on the shelf. All the new Rapple stuff, like the Crush City stuff. He has the Mayor over there. There's just so much stuff that's over there. Like he's got the new Picasso Ned weights over there. I'm sorry, the Nico rig weights already. Stuff that was just released at the Classic. And if he doesn't have it, he can order it for you. Last time I checked over there was still some of those Zumverno jerk baits that were just freshly released by Shimano.
Berkeley.
Yeah. So we got the Crud Crawl and what's the other one?
It's like Stanky Bug or something.
Stank Bug. Yeah, for sure. But Borders got you locked down on pretty much anything. If you want to buy a firearm, some ammo, if you go over and see Caleb there in the archery department, or they have knives, they have Costa sunglasses, they sell Matthews, bows, all kinds of firearms, bunch of ammunition, safes that are Liberty safe dealers, so you can pretty much. It's a one-stop shop there in Summit, Kentucky. Really nice people, really nice place to go hang out. If you're just looking for a place to drink a cup of coffee, I advise you going over and check that out. And last but not least, Solar Bat. Solar Bat has been a part of my team for quite a while. I've been promoting Solar Bat for the last 6 years now. JR just recently got hooked up with them. Solar Bat has the best sunglass warranty on the market, in my opinion. It's $14 for if the frames break on your glasses, you send the glasses back and a check for $14. I think it is $14.50 maybe, and they will send your glasses back with new frames. So basically, all you're doing is paying for the shipping back to them or from them to you, and I think it's like $15 per lens. So if you break the frames and both lenses, you're looking at like $44. To get a brand new pair of glasses, which is a pretty good deal. So if you're interested in that, solarbat.com, we'll get it there. And I think Waller 20 will save you 20%. Maybe just Waller. Let me know. I'll find out. Let me find this out. Actually, I'll do it right now.
I was going to say, I think I actually have a code too that I'm supposed to be sharing out, but I keep forgetting to because I'm a bad guy. But it's like JR20, I think.
All right, so I'm gonna add some stuff here. They just come out with the Bat Seal, which I think Jared has a pair of.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. They're I like those new ones because they kind of cover more of the side. Personally, when I'm fishing, I cannot stand to have light coming in the side, and it is very nice. So. Check them out. I think they're only like $120. And then, the one thing about Solar Bat that I really like that I did not know before is that they're the CEO of the company is an optometrist. So if you're going to trust your eyes with somebody, it should be a professional like Gary and Solar Bat. So I think they do a great job, and they're just going to keep expanding.
Yeah, I swear I think it's Waller 20 or T Waller. I have to look. The reason it's not working right now is they have a ready for spring discount that gets applied right now, no matter what. I think it takes. Let's see. Let me see if I can find what they got going on. So, ready for spring sale, we'll be offering 30% off. So you get 30% off right off the rip.
30% off. So
that's going to be more than I could save you
There's-
anyway. So.
It's another $30 off.
Yeah, so the cruise frames are awesome. I like the FL3s, the floating bats 3s. They have the FL1s, FL2s, and FL3s. FL3s are my favorite. They're basically frameless. They do float. Not all of their sunglasses float. Just to let you know. It's not like one of those deals where you're like, oh, I got a pair of sunglasses from Solar Band, I'm gonna throw them in the water. I would only recommend that if they are their floating style, which is only 3 pair at this point right now. So don't pull a dummy like I would do.
I guess my code is JRW, so that's pretty easy to remember. JRW.
Yeah, let me make sure that one doesn't work. I know that it will not allow multiple discount codes, but I want to make sure that this is true.
I can't believe I have a discount code. That's pretty wild. Well,
actually, yeah. So JRW works, but it does not supersede the fact. But if you wanted to give
free shipping, something like that, but save you a few bucks. HP3 don't float.
The HP for the 3s do not float.
Yeah, he must have learned the hard way, like I did with my Costas.
Yes, sir.
Heck yeah, man. Happy to have you. Well, I will be there for sure. I'm really excited about it. I've actually never fished Douglas. I actually went to Borders and bought me a map because I like studying the map. Like, I don't know, it's kind of old school, I guess, but I still do love doing that.
Yes, sir. That's awesome. Rob Reynolds says safe travels on the fishing expedition. Oh, yeah. So, Rob, I'm glad you mentioned that because I have not checked my spare on both of my truck or my boat. So I definitely need to do that. Appreciate that. I don't have AAA at the point. So, yeah. Ricky Bobby finish.
If you ain't first, you're last, brother.
Oh, hell, Ricky. I was high when I said that.
Oh, man.
Yeah, man. Look at Tyler Williams, too. I don't know. I'm hoping to be down there. It all depends on what happens this next week. This next week could be a doozy.
Yeah, it's a lot of traveling, man. I completely get it. It's a lot.
35 hours on a truck. 35 hours in a truck. That's a lot. That's almost as much time as I spend in my job a week.
Yeah. Well, you know what they say about that.
Yeah. All right, guys. We're about that 1 hour mark, so we don't want to keep you on here too much longer. Again, Tony, I do want to say thanks for joining us here on Another Line. I've been seeing you here, fairly, religiously, so I appreciate it. It's folks like you guys that make this show go around. Hopefully, we'll see you in May there down in Tennessee. If not, you'll see these guys. Maybe JR and you guys can share some contact information so when you get down there, you can find out where they're staying and all that stuff. So get some dinner or whatever. It's hard to say. But yeah, it's gonna be a good trip. Right now I haven't checked my YouTube channel in a few days because I got tired of all the haters. Turns out when you have a video go kind of uber viral for me, but it has almost 400,000 views on it, there's also a lot of haters, which I guess that comes with 5,882 subscribers on the On Another Line channel right now. So I appreciate that very much. 42,500 views for the week, 1.2 million views on the YouTube channel. Thank you guys out there for that. Come on.
Heck yeah.
1.2 million. That's crazy. There's I live in Cold River, Ohio, and there's like 3,000 people that live in my town. So that's a lot.
Yeah.
But anyway, again, make sure you guys go out there. If you need some life insurance, make sure you get a hold of Hannah Sublett. She's been bringing this stuff to you guys. She is a major sponsor for this trip coming up this past week or this next week coming up. Without her, I would not be going on this trip. She was gracious enough to sponsor some cash to see my dreams come true. She's a great friend of mine, but she also is very professional at what she does. Again, Hannah Sublett, insurance broker, protecting your health, securing your future. 740-456-7944. Give her a call for all your health and life insurance needs. She can sell insurance in West Virginia, Kentucky, and Ohio. So if you're watching that in any of those 3 states, she can get you hooked up. Again, she can do some shopping for you and see which best company is going to be best for you and stuff. It's not just like going with whatever, like State Farm stuff that I have. But with that being said, guys, appreciate you guys joining us this episode of On Another Line Live. We have absolutely, it's been a great show. I enjoyed it very much. You guys joining in there and having a little bit of kind of back and forth conversation, which is always a plus. So
that's my favorite part of this whole thing is just talking to people and learning from each other, because we're all amateurs. We're all just out here having fun. And, speaking back to what Tyler was saying, I am a person that does not focus on negativity and steps away from it. So having that bright point and making fishing fun again, I think is what all this is about. So thanks for helping us do that.
You guys can see it right there, but this one video in the last 3 months has 305,128 views. And it was me catching a trout on a Picasso jig at Green Bay. Never know, fellas. I got over 500 subscribers from that video. So the deal is getting viral videos, get some new subscribers. I have a feeling that Tony there probably came from a YouTube video about me catching my PB at Falls Lake down there last year. So hopefully that's the case. If not, that's okay too. So you guys know the routine. If you guys can, get out there and lean on them. Hold on a second. We got one more question here. Ever hit Tycoon? It's been a while, man. It's been before they drained it for me. Really tough place to fish. It should be coming back. Should be getting good. Huge crappie in that place. So anyway, you guys know what to do. If you can, get out there and lean on them. See you next time on Another Line.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of On Another Line Live. We truly appreciate your support, and we couldn't do it without all the amazing folks at home watching week after week. A big thank you goes out to our sponsors, who help make this show possible. Malone's Marine, Borders Sporting Goods, Solar Bat Sunglasses, Picasso Lures, Shimano, and Columbia Sportswear. Their partnership allows us to keep bringing you the content you love. We'll see you next time on Another Line. Until then, get out there and lean on them.